Hey everybody, this is Eric with the Drum Addict back with another episode of the Backbeat. Today I have my good friend Drumman 190 with me again. Matthew, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. It's always good to be chatting with you. I hope you're doing good as well.
I'm doing well. Agreed. It's always a pleasure to chat with you too, buddy. And always a pleasure to collaborate on a project for YouTube as well. I
Yeah,
love
it's
it.
always fun. It's always a good time.
Agreed. So Matthew and I thought we would talk about some I just lost my questions, but we thought we would talk about some topics that have come up in our YouTube runs where um, we found some things that we think work well and things that don't work well, or things that we've observed as we've been around that seem to work, and for others or that don't. And maybe you will find this helpful. That was kind of the idea, is be a little, what did you say, tips and tricks.
Yeah, tips and tricks of some YouTube hints or whatever you call it.
I love it. I love it. So that's what this episode is going to be about. And if there's something we don't cover that you've got questions about or would like to hear us discuss, drop it in the comments below, and then Matthew and I will do a part two of tips and tricks. So the first thing I want to talk about, and I think we've both at different times maybe been on the receiving end of people not sure how our growth was coming to our channels. So there are ways to purchase subscribers. And I think a lot of times when somebody has a growth, like a burst of growth, I think somebody, like, if we're growing slower, we're like, oh, they must be buying subs, which can happen. And it's very different than like paying to advertise your video, like to get that in front of people. That's a different thing. But um what is your experience been with this? I know that you've grown your channel organically. I think when I was starting, it was easy to be like, to see those ads and be like, oh, maybe that's what I need to do. And I never did it because I didn't want to spend the money. Um, but organic versus purchased subs, like, what are your thoughts on that, Matthew?
Yeah, I've grown my, like you said, I've grown my channel organically, so I don't really have any experience with the other thing. But I think if you're a YouTube drummer, that's what we're talking to mostly right here. If you maybe cover a song that's really popular at the moment or a newer song, that can help a lot. If let's say it's a new song, you cover it within the week of it's being released, you're going to get a lot of traffic to your video most likely because it's a newer song, and that will help you with finding new viewers, and you'll get way more subscribers that way. I've done that. I've covered a newer song and I've noticed that video has thousands of views, and I could get 10 to 20 to 30 new subscribers just from that one video. So I think that helps a lot. And song selection, is a big thing, I think, for us drummers and musicians. So, like I said, it comes back to that. If you cover a song that's really popular, for instance, last summer, or not last summer, 2 summers ago, I covered Have You Ever Seen the Rain? And that song was trending on the iTunes charts and the Billboard's charts, and that cover did amazing. So I think it's all about, kind of, for us musicians on YouTube, song selection if you're doing covers. And I think if you right place, right time, cover the right song at the right time, that will help you a huge amount.
Yeah, I think that's good. That's good advice. And I know I tried it once. The last, not the new 21 Pilots album, but the last one, their first single that they dropped, I was like, oh, I'm gonna do it because I like 21 Pilots anyway.
Yeah.
But it did not for me. Like, I don't know if I just was too late to the party.
Yeah,
You know,
when did you cover? Like within the first week or?
I think it was like within the first week or two,
Okay, yeah,
and I had already seen like a handful of people covering it.
yeah,
So I
that might
may
be the
have
problem too.
missed the boat. So you said something like the timing of that, I think, is important.
Yeah, like 21 Pilots is super popular, so there might have been, even though it might have been the first week, there might have been 30 covers already, you know. So I think it all depends on timing, really. Just like drums, it's all about the timing. So
Right.
yeah, and that's a huge part.
It is. And I think in terms of like, I feel like just my thoughts on like purchasing subs. No judgment on anybody at all that has done that or whatever, but it's not organic, right? You know, I find that it doesn't. Where I've seen it happen, it doesn't really increase watch time or views.
Yeah.
Um, and
So it's not
so
really helping your channel in really any way if you think about it. You know, you're not getting
right,
real people that actually like your videos and actually like your channel to subscribe. So they're not really going to hang around next time you upload a video to watch it, you know?
right. You want people that are going to engage your channel and be, you know, be sharing it and involved with what you're
Yeah.
doing. And
Yeah. So this is where I think networking really comes into play. If you network, for instance, if you search, let's say, drummer, drum cover, and you try to find recent uploads, you can find so many drummers and musicians that way. Start
yeah,
watching their content, and maybe they'll come back to your channel and return the favor and start watching you. That's I think how I found your channel. I was searching drum covers one day, and I saw your awesome
nice.
channel. I was like, wow, this is a really cool channel. The production blew me away. The drumming obviously blew me away.
Oh, thanks,
So
man.
I found you through networking. I found tons of drummers through networking, and look what we built, a little community of awesome drummers and awesome friends. So networking is
Yeah.
huge if you want to grow your channel. And also find a lot of cool musicians and drummers in our case that way as well.
Yeah. You said something that Ash Wells had said too. And he had like early in his channel, he was like, every day I go find like, I can't remember if it was like 2 new drummers to subscribe to and engage with. And then anytime somebody subbed or followed him on YouTube, I'm sorry, on Facebook or Instagram, he would send them a private message thanking them for the sub and then give them a link to his channel, you know, and send them over that way
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Ash is
Um,
awesome. That's great networking right there. So I encourage everyone that wants to grow their channel, but also find other drummer friends. That's really the perfect way, in my opinion, to go about that.
yeah. And I think that one of the benefits I think that comes out of it, well, obviously, and you said it like actually, you know, making friendships with some of
Yeah.
these guys and gals. Um, but I think I always learned something too from so many of them because there's so many great players in our community that I can just watch and like soak that in and learn something new that I can apply to what I'm doing.
Yeah, and you can find a lot of new bands that way, new songs that you never really listened to, and you can really benefit from that. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah, this as a side note, the cover I just did of Paramore's Still Into You, I only knew that song existed because you covered it
Yeah,
some time ago. And I was like, this is an amazing song.
yeah, that happens a lot for me on too. For instance, one of your covers, I Tell You Can't. I think it's by Cody Johnson. I think
Oh,
is
yeah.
his name. I never knew that artist or that song, and once he covered it, I was hooked. So I checked his music out, and I like a lot of his music. So that happens a
Nice.
lot to me as well. Yeah, it's awesome.
I think that's exciting because I love to learn to hear new music, you know, and so
Yeah.
that's another side benefit of the networking thing.
Yeah, it's an awesome thing, really. I encourage everyone watching or wanting to grow their channels, but also grow their, knowledge to other music and other artists to definitely network. It's simple. You just search drum cover, drummer, whatever, and you try to go to recent uploads and you'll see it.
Yeah, and I'll tag onto this too that in terms of like if you're jumping into this because you want to see your channel blow up overnight, you're probably going to be disappointed. Not because what you're putting up isn't awesome, but it just is not for every one person that it happens to, there's like a million others that,
Yeah.
you know, we're grinding it out to create content and to engage and to network and build our channels that way. So be willing to put in that work of networking.
Yeah, maybe the early days of YouTube, you could maybe upload a video and overnight you have, you're famous, but now I think it's really oversaturated, which is actually a good thing. There's so many drummers out there to learn from and watch. So I think that's actually a good thing. But yeah, it just takes time like everything. You can't go to the drum set and play a song right away. It takes time, like with everything. So
Yeah, anything worth doing takes some effort
absolutely, yeah.
for sure.
Absolutely.
for sure. And oh yeah, let me mention this too, kind of visit this for just a real quick second. I mentioned it briefly. Um, but this whole like buying subs is different than using Google Ads to get your video in front of people. The subs you get from that are people that have watched your content.
Okay.
Have you ever used Google
I don't
Ads?
I don't think I have used it before. I've heard many other people have used it and they've had great success with it. But
Yeah.
again, I'm more interested in putting my money into maybe a new cymbal or a drum or editing software or something like that. So that interests
Yes.
me more. But I have heard many people have used Google Ads and they've had great success with it. So yeah, just learn,
Yeah.
look things up yourself and try things, try that, and you'll learn great that way. Just trial and error.
Yeah. I've used it a few times, and then I just got tired of putting even just a few dollars
Yeah.
into something because, like you said, I'd rather take that money and put it toward something on the drum set or
Yeah, especially with how everything is today, everything's so expensive,
oh
So
gosh, yeah,
yeah, so yeah.
for sure. But it'll allow you, if you don't, if for those that don't know, like in your YouTube studio page, when you're at your content, you have your little analytics buttons and stuff, and there's those three buttons that'll drop down, and one of them is promote, and you can create a Google AdSense account, and then you can determine how long you want it, regions you want it to run in, how much you want to spend per day, and then you can turn it off when you're done. So I would do like I started like doing like $1 a day, and
Yeah.
then it was like a quarter a day, and now I'm just like whatever, whoever sees it sees it.
No, it's a cool idea though. It is a cool idea from Google. So yeah, if you're interested in it, give it a shot. Like you said, maybe start with $1 a day for a week. That's $7,
Yeah,
and see how it does.
give it a shot. It's a valid way to get your stuff in front of people, because sometimes it's hard to catch the algorithms for for YouTube and
Yeah.
things like that. So
Now,
either
do you think uploading your video a certain day of a week or a time, do you think that has anything to do with anything?
I've heard people say that it does.
Okay.
I usually now am like just dropping everything at midnight Eastern time.
Okay. You like
Um,
that time? Does it work well?
yeah, but I feel like it hits early morning um over in Europe, or like East, Western Europe.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
And then you come back around the other way and it's afternoon. Here people
Yeah.
are on lunch breaks or whatever. Um, so it seems to work pretty well when I do the reactions, which is a different audience altogether. But some of the videos, I'll get up at 7 in the morning and I've got 1,000 views on that video just in those 7 hours.
Yeah.
And
It's great.
so I think it just depends. But I don't know it, but I've heard people talk about there's some like science to days and times of days when
Yeah,
people are.
I'm sure there is. In my early days, I just upload whenever. I was, 13 years old. I didn't really put any much thought into that. Later in my YouTube career, I guess you call it, I would do the midnight thing. And I thought that worked pretty well. But that's when I was uploading like 3 times a week. So I did it at midnight 3 times a week. And then lately I've just been doing, kind of just pick a day. I used to always have a schedule. I kind of got away from that. Now I'm just kind of picking a day. I usually do 4 p.m. Eastern if it's a weekday. And if it's a weekend, I might do morning. So yeah, I think it just depends on time, day, and
Nice.
also the content you're uploading. So yeah, I
Right.
haven't really found much of a difference with time or day, really.
So not like
But
10
like
views
you
versus
said,
1,000.
oh yeah, definitely. I have not definitely not seen something like that. But I like you said, I have heard people put a science to it of days and times. But yeah, I haven't really found anything significant like that.
Yeah, that's something you can experiment with too and see what works for you. For me, it was kind of about my schedule. At
Yeah.
the time, we used to do them Wednesday mornings for
Okay.
whatever reason. There was no rhyme or reason to it. And then I started a new job, so we moved it to the evenings. And then I just kind of got away from doing it. I felt like I had to be there at 8
Yeah.
p.m. on Wednesday
For
night.
Yeah, for a premiere. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
It,
What made it Wednesday? It was just a day you liked, or what
yeah,
your schedule?
it was just, I think it was just random and was the one night we didn't have anything going on for sure,
Yeah,
you know?
I used to do Mondays. Mondays, I don't know why. I just thought start of the week kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, see, and that makes sense.
Yeah. But also if you can look at it like people are getting back to work and back to school, so maybe they don't have a lot of time to watch. You could look at it a lot of different ways, you know?
Right. Absolutely. So again, that's something definitely to experiment with. And so in terms of, you were talking about when you started, you were doing like three uploads a week. And I feel like a lot of people started their channel during COVID.
Yeah.
I was one of them. And it was easy to, where if you weren't working, to be like just cranking out material, 10 covers a week. And it's and
That's
it's
all.
ultimately not sustainable. It was inevitable unless that's your full-time job, is creating
Oh yeah.
content.
Yeah, it's
Um,
different.
but I've found that, like, when I go to a channel to see what you've uploaded, I like to see what's available to watch. Um, I feel like if you're uploading a ton of content and setting them all as premieres, like way out, for me, when I see that, I'm like, can't watch it, can't watch it. Okay, I'm going to the next channel. Um,
Yeah.
and and so, but I'm kind of like type A about that stuff. I like everything to look clean and easy to find. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I think premieres, I don't know, I think they came 5 years ago, 4 years ago. Do you know? Yeah,
I,
something like that.
yeah, it was in the recent
Yeah,
past.
it's
Yeah,
fairly new. I mean, not last year, but it was fairly new. So that I did do a few premieres here and there, but it was within a week. You know, within a few days of the video uploading. Like, so if let's say it's a Monday, I set a premiere for the video on a Thursday or a Friday. So it's within a few days. I don't really suggest, like you said, setting a premiere for a video. Let's say it's July 1st, and you're gonna premiere that video on July 30th. So whoever comes to your channel within July 1st and July 30th, the first video they see will be the video that's set for a premiere, so they can't watch it. And then you're saying, which I've seen myself as well, people setting premieres for multiple videos. So you're on your phone scrolling your computer and you have to scroll down, down, down just to get a video that you can actually watch and view at that moment. You know, so it definitely can, I guess, irritate you and say, oh, I'm just going to go to a different channel and watch something else. So, yeah, I completely agree with you
because I feel like
on
if
that.
somebody's
Yeah.
coming to my channel, their time is valuable, and so I want them to be able to find what they want to watch as soon as they go to my videos page.
Yeah.
You know,
And the attention spans of people too, you know, look at the reels and the TikToks and all those things. People want something really quick to watch and be able to watch it at that moment. So yeah, that could definitely deter people from checking out your channel and your videos if you have, you know, a month's worth or 2 months worth of scheduled premieres to scroll through before you can see a video right away. So yeah,
right?
I agree, 100%.
Exactly. Now, something that you and I both do is you can upload and schedule it without it being a premiere. So it's not visible to somebody coming to your channel without a direct link.
Yeah,
And then if you wanted to, you could go weekly and change the video that's coming up next to a premiere.
yeah,
That
you can do
way,
that.
that would work too. But the
That would
scheduling
probably
is
be
good for me. Like,
yeah, the schedules are great. You could be, you know, in the car, you could be in a pool, you could be, you know, in a bathtub or a shower, and you can schedule your video to come out. You don't have to worry about going to your computer or your phone and pressing publish. So the scheduling is way different than the premiere. The schedule, you know, like you said, you schedule it for midnight. You don't have to wake up at midnight and press release. It'll just come out automatically, which I think is really cool. And your viewers and your subscribers don't see that until that day and time you choose. So
right.
that's a great.
Yeah. And it allows you to upload as much content as you want without making it difficult for people to find the available content.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's definitely the way to go. Like you said, if you want to maybe that week of the video you want to come out, you can set it as a premiere. You know, that week or the few days before, if you're still into the premiere thing. Which, yeah,
Yeah.
the premiere thing's kind of a tough to get everyone's time zones and to be able to watch it all at the same time. It's kind of a tough thing, but I like the idea of it. It's cool.
Yeah, and really, like, I was doing mine at 8 p.m. Eastern time, which works great for people on the East Coast.
Yeah.
But like anybody in England, it's way too
Yeah, it's
late in
what,
the night.
midnight or 2 in the morning? It's
Yeah,
like
it's
6 hours
like,
ahead, I think, or something like that.
so it's like, yeah, that I wouldn't be up for my premiere
Yeah,
at
I
that
wouldn't.
time either, right? Or it's so early in the day on the West Coast of the United States that people are still at work,
Yeah.
so, but I liked, for me, I liked this, the expectation of the premiere. And I liked when we'd have people come and engage, but it is minimal. And I think some of that was due to the time of day
Yeah, no,
that
it's
we were
it's a
doing.
really fun idea to be able to sit there and have, let's say, a lot of people commenting on your video at that moment. It's like kind of like a live, TV show, for instance. It's a
Yeah.
really fun idea. Now, lately, I've been just putting it on like Facebook, Instagram, new drum cover this day, this time. That kind of builds excitement too, I think. So
Yeah.
everyone knows, okay, that's the time, that's the day. Not that you have to be there at that time to watch it, but it'll be coming that day, that time, which that's kind of fun.
Yeah. Agreed. And then
And
there
you've
were,
you've done that too. You post, let's say Monday or Sunday drum cover. Wednesday, this is this a song from this album, and you post a picture. I like that idea too. It builds
yeah.
excitement.
I also would like to use, like make a short, for like,
Like a
which I
promo.
usually put up on Monday. So it's like, hey, this is what we're doing this week. So, and I put that on the social media too, just to like,
Yeah, I like that a lot. Like the promo, like a sneak peek kind of thing, like an ad, for instance, on like a commercial. It's really I like that idea too. That's a good way of alerting people what's coming and promoting your content. That's a great idea.
yeah, I think I think it works fairly well. Like,
No, I
our,
like I like seeing them. Yeah, I always check what you're doing, and I know Wednesday will be ready for you, to watch the full cover.
right.
Yeah,
I love when I used to have premieres. This is a total side note, but I have something set for a premiere, and because you could see it and you could comment on it, you couldn't watch it, but you could see the thumbnail
I
and
know what you
comment.
mean. Yeah,
I'd get people that would be like, dude, killer drumming, man. I'd be like,
yeah,
hey, you
yeah,
think that was something? You should come back when the video's live,
yeah. That's a funny response. Yeah, that's funny when that happens. Yeah, kind of
Always,
kind of
always
kind
funny.
of disappointing as well, though. Funny but also disappointing. Like
Yeah.
pay attention.
Yeah, it's like it was never really somebody that like was engaging with me regularly. It would be somebody that just was like, oh, I like that song. Hey, great job, and didn't even notice,
Yeah, you don't
you
really
know,
know. Yeah, you're not a
that it was
regular. Well, you're not a regular viewer, for instance. Yeah,
right. But it always cracked me up nonetheless.
yeah, it's funny.
But speaking of comments, and you're talking about engaging, and one of the best ways to engage, right, is not just to watch and hit the like button, but to let the person know that you enjoyed their video. Something that I've seen that this kind of has a couple different facets to it that I don't think goes over well is leaving your critique on somebody's ability or the performance in the song. Um, Hopefully they have people in their life that can speak those things into their lives. Like I have, there's a handful of people like you being one of them, Matthew, that I could like be like, will you listen to this? Or what isn't working?
Yeah.
And you would be honest with me, and that's helpful. But to just like, oh, I had somebody leave a comment that was like, oh, your buzz rolls suck. And I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
that's not even really a helpful comment. That's more just a mean
yeah,
comment. Like maybe you could say something like, "Oh, try this with your buzz rolls, or do this technique, or try that, or practice this exercise." Try to do a helpful,
yeah,
critique, not just a one trying to put someone down. Or even maybe if you're that, if you're that interested in it, or that it matters to you that much, maybe search them on Facebook or search them on Instagram. There's a good chance you'll see their if they have an account on YouTube, they most likely will have an Instagram account and a Facebook account. Private
yeah.
message them on that if it really matters to you that much. Maybe go about doing it that way privately.
Right. Yeah. Instead of publicly. And I feel like anytime if you're gonna leave a criticism, let it be a constructive criticism, but know that I don't think that most people like unsolicited criticism.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah.
So I always make it a point, because we're all at different stages in our drumming journey, right? There's some people that are just starting. There's some people that have been doing it longer than we have, and then everybody in between. And we can all learn from each other. So I always make it a point to just be positive, even if somebody struggled through the song. You know, I always want to be encouraging. And then if they ever asked, what can I do to improve? Then I feel like now I have a platform to lovingly be like, hey, this is something I struggled with when I had, but I'm
Yeah,
not, I think putting it out there makes you look like a know-it-all,
yeah, I
if
agree.
it's
I agree
unasked
with that.
for. Have you run into
Yeah.
any of that?
Oh, absolutely. I think everyone probably, if you have a YouTube channel, if you're doing it, you have a good amount of videos on there, you definitely probably have run into those know-it-alls people. So I think you kind of just have to realize that people always have something nasty to say. Like for instance, look up a restaurant and go to reviews. Majority of them will be bad reviews. Who really leaves a good review? Not many people compared to the people that leave bad ones. So
Right.
kind of just, read it, and if it's really nasty, I just suggest just to delete it or if it or just leave it if it's kind of nasty but kind of not nasty. Kind of just leave it. You can respond if you want with just, oh, thanks for watching, thanks for the feedback. Something as simple as that. Don't go back and forth into like a comment war of this and that. I just try to move past it, appreciate the feedback, and just move along. Now that's way different than a completely nasty comment. If that's the case, yeah, I would just delete it.
Yeah, it's not worth your energy.
Yeah,
99% of the time, I would say
absolutely.
it's not worth the time. In discussing comments and talking about being encouraging, being positive, and not leaving like mean critiques with no room for growth. Something I also have seen that irritates me is I've not seen it on my channel. I've seen it somewhere else. Somebody had done like some different fill-ins, and they had said, let me know which one you want me to break down in the comments below. So I was like, oh, this one I'd love to see you break it down and see the sticking for it. And somebody replied on their on this person's channel to my comment. They said, oh, you mean the right left kick right left, triplet or whatever it was. And I was like, I didn't ask that person. I asked the channel creator,
Yeah, yeah,
and my first opinion of that person was they're an insufferable know-it-all. So like, we get it. Most of you guys out there are probably better drummers than we are. We get it. But but let the content creator answer the questions. If there's a place for a discussion, totally different
yeah.
story. But
Even if you ask a question like, "Oh, what drum heads are you using?" and the creator of the video doesn't reply, but some person is replying, "Oh, yeah, they're using Evans drum heads." Like, yeah, I didn't ask you. I asked like you said, I asked the content creator. So yeah, I wouldn't. If I would, unless it's an open discussion, open thread on the
yeah,
comment section, I would just stay out of it.
yeah, and I think kind of just generally in life, um, I think maybe if we're all honest, we do want people to think we're really smart. But but being a know-it-all doesn't make making friends an easy thing.
Yeah,
People kind of tend to avoid that. Um, so yeah, I saw that. I was like, man, you know, I just kind of skip past, and
yeah, yeah,
hopefully the content creator will answer
yeah.
me, unless they're like, oh, I don't need to answer him now because
Yeah, that could happen too. Yeah.
this guy answered for me.
Maybe you should
Um,
get him as an assistant or something,
yeah, and because sometimes something can be simple, but the way when you play it fast, it looks and sounds
Oh,
really
yeah.
complicated. So not only did this person's reply not give the creator a chance to be like, oh, I can teach somebody something, but it also made me feel like an idiot, like I was like, he played it pretty fast. Like it was kind of hard to see everything. Um,
Now, you can even be doing paradiddles around a drum set really fast, and it's hard to break down, really. So
yeah,
yeah, so
until somebody's like, and you're like, oh,
yeah, yeah, like really slow. Yeah,
okay. And then you just sped it up. Got it. Cool beans.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
absolutely.
so staying on the comment theme, I know that as our channel began to grow and we began to subscribe to other, to more and more channels, to try to go through and try to watch everybody's content was like an insurmountable task. What have you found works for you to staying engaged and keeping up with comments?
It's kind of just like you said, is let's say you start off watching 10 channels and you grow that to watching over the couple months, grow to watching 50 channels or subscribe to 50 channels. That's gonna be a lot of time sitting behind a computer or behind your phone watching videos and comment videos. I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't really watch a lot of movies, so I kind of use my screen time for that. But it's still not enough time to watch every single channel that you're subscribed to in every single video. So I
Right.
tend to just watch the newer ones. So let's say someone uploaded 4 videos in the last 10 days. I tend to watch the newest one, and then watch that the whole thing. I always watch the whole thing. I know most people probably don't watch the whole thing, but I most of the time watch the entire video, especially if it's a drummer and channel that I love and enjoy watching. So I tend to watch the newest video of the channels, and I go from there. So yeah, it's kind of just how much time I have that day, how much time I have that week. But usually, if it's in my subscription box and it's newer, then there's a good chance I'm going to watch it. But I think it's also a good way of just kind of deciphering what channels that you really enjoy and like you want to support versus the channels that you really you like them, but maybe you don't have as much time to watch a 30-minute interview or a podcast. And like for instance, I'm always going to watch the drummers in our community versus I'm not going to watch the big name YouTube drummers like the Cooper drummers and the big famous YouTube drummers. I'm not going to pick them over the small channels and the drummers in our community. I love watching the drummers in our community, and I'll always pick watching them over the big names. But yeah,
Agreed.
it's just kind of about time and what you're able to do, really.
I think there's a connection to growth too. I've over the last 4 years, I've observed some channels, and usually if I find a new drummer, I'll engage with them for a certain amount of time, and then if they don't engage back, I don't make it a priority. But what
Okay.
I've
Yeah.
found is that the channels that are growing are the names you see on everybody else's channel. You leaving a comment, Ash Wells, like people like that. You guys aren't the only ones, obviously, but
Yeah.
and then I've kept an eye on some channels that they'll like say thank you to your comment, but they're not. But by engaging me, they're not coming back over and
Not
watching.
trying to support you. Trying to support you.
And so I've watched it. Their channels don't grow as quickly. Now that said, if there's something to be said about just doing it because you love it, right, and not just I'm doing this for the numbers.
Yeah.
So but I think that you'll get more enrichment out of the
Yeah,
engagement.
but also, yeah, you can love something, a lot. You can enjoy making videos and putting your hard work in a lot. It takes a lot of time making the videos and stuff like that. Everyone wants to see people watch their videos. Everyone wants to see comments and feedback. What if you're gonna make videos and you don't want to get a comment? Send it to one of your family members. Send it to your
Right.
grandmother. If you wanted someone to share it with. But everyone
Right.
wants views and comments and engagement. That's why it feels awesome to get a comment and a like and all the other stuff. That's why I wish the big name drummers and the big name musicians would give back. Support the younger drummers out there. Like for instance, Cooper Drummer, people love him. People love his channel. I think he's the biggest drum channel on YouTube. I wish um, he would comment on younger drummers videos and show some support that way. I know everyone's busy with their jobs and their family and stuff like that, but I wish the big names would just give some encouragement to the up and coming drummers of YouTube. You know, 'cause they need it. You know, I was lucky enough when I started off to have some drummers that I still, watch their videos today, support me. And that really meant a lot to me. So I wish, the big name YouTubers and, all the big
Yeah.
stars of YouTube would, just leave a comment, even one comment. It doesn't have to be every video. Just leave a comment. Good job. And that will go a long way.
Yeah,
That's what I've tried to
absolutely.
do. Yeah.
I agree. I agree. And I think that's in channels like that, I feel like even if they can't personally do it, they have people,
Yeah.
you
And they're
know,
huge. Yeah. Yeah.
be like,
Exactly. They're
look, your job is
huge.
to find 10 new drummers a week and go say something nice to them, and encourage them.
Yeah,
Um,
and even if like have a family member of theirs do it, and just go make someone's day. Because there'd be a lot of people, a lot of kids out there that would be over the moon. That would make their entire year getting a comment from Tuber drummer or a
yeah,
comment from other big drummers. That would really, and that would also go a long way with their music journey.
yeah,
Of pushing them to want to get better and keep working at it. So that's what I
yeah,
try to do. I encourage everyone watching right now to find a newer, it doesn't have to be younger, it could be a older person that's just starting on YouTube, but leave a supportive comment to them. And just do one, pick one person a day or one person a week and just be supportive, and that really will go a long way. I've gotten a lot of nice comments from people like yourself, and especially when I was younger, there's some mean people, there's also some nice people, and they really, it meant a lot. It still does.
yeah. Ignore the people that are just being mean. Don't let
Yeah,
it get into your headspace and keep you from wanting to get better.
yeah,
Um, find yourself two or three people that you can trust to help you, to help you grow too. Like that'll give you they won't just be like, oh yeah, that's perfect, but they'll tell you, okay, well,
yeah,
here's where we can improve. Invite that into your life, but I would say keep that circle small. But in terms of putting your comments out for people, always be encouraging, you
yeah.
know.
And
Um,
also, if you're not going to be encouraging, just don't comment anything. Then it's as simple as that. Because honestly, does
yeah,
it really mean that much to you that this person messed up this part of the song, or that they messed up that drum fill or beat? It doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
yeah,
So either be supportive, or if it really is that bad, just don't say anything at all. Then
right. If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all.
yeah,
I think that definitely is so important. And um kind of circling back, kind of similar to what you were saying, the way I started, instead of going to everybody that I was subscribing to and try to watch their content, I do what you do. I do watch the newest thing. Um, if they've uploaded 5 in a week, I'll watch the most recent.
yeah,
Um, but that got to be so much trying to go through all of the people I was subscribing to. And probably a couple years ago, I hit a point where I was like, okay, I'm only gonna go to the people that are engaging my material. So like now you're like one that if I hadn't seen a comment from you in a while, I know you busy. I'll still go watch your content. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
generally speaking, and sometimes you get new people that comment. So I go see what their channel's about and I'll subscribe to them. You did your drummers to watch. That was a great way to find people. Ash had his thing, and Rich Raw Dog does his thing. Um, but you could, like you said, do a search. I'm totally off topic here, but um, but so now like I'll prioritize my engagement of the people that are coming to my channel to
yeah.
watch
No,
the video. Yeah,
yeah, that made sense. Yeah, that definitely made sense. And I've done that, and luckily enough, I've people that watch me and support me. They're at the top of my list of people I love watching. Yourself, for instance, Ash Wells, Joey Clark Drums, Rock Invader. There's
yeah,
so many. I can't even name all of them. There's so many awesome drummers in our community that support me, but also, and I really love watching their videos as well. So there's so many. There's so
yes,
many drummers out there. I encourage you all to like I said, network, I think, is key to growing a channel. And
yeah,
also, growing your knowledge of drumming. You can learn a lot from these drummers. Don't just watch the big names. check out the small channels as well.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. So we'll kind of move into a different, a really YouTube specific thing to discuss. Well, I guess those other things were too, but what do you think is the most important element in creating content? Is it video quality, audio quality, lights and stuff? What do you think?
I don't know. That's a tough one because you could have a really good sounding mix, but have a, like a flip camera, like a, not a good camera, and that would, wouldn't look good. So I think it's kind of like a 60-40 kind of thing. I would say audio probably a little bit more than video, because if you have it sounding good, that's music, you listen to music. So I would say 60-40. You don't want a terrible camera, but there's also a lot of ways to have a good camera. For instance, an iPad, an iPhone, a Samsung phone. A lot of smartphones have pretty good cameras, which I use them. I use my iPhone. I also have a GoPro, and it's not the best quality, but it definitely gets the job done. So yeah, there's a lot of, like I said, I think it's 60-40, with audio a little bit more important than the cameras. What about you?
I agree. I think it's a little bit easier to watch a video that's not great than it is to listen to horrible audio.
Yeah.
Especially as musicians. Like if you're gonna do a drum cover, I want to be able to hear what you're playing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
With enough clarity to follow along and
know
what you're doing.
That's at the end of the day, that's music. You listen to music. It's obvious. It's great to have like a camera to see what a drummer's doing or what a guitar player's doing. But I think a little bit more important is the audio. So I think you just probably focus on that. And like I said, if you get a good interface and good microphones, and if you have a smartphone, that's more than decent camera to use for your videos.
And they get better and better with every new model.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Crazy how good they are. I started just doing our outros with my phone. So I need to get like a mic adapter for it. But
yeah, they have a lot. Even Shure is a microphone brand. They have one that just plugs straight into where you charge your iPhone, and that picks up decent audio. I don't have it. I've heard about it. And there's a lot of ones on Amazon. You clip on microphones that you plug in to where you charge your phone. I've heard they work out pretty well too.
Nice.
So,
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, you definitely have to check that out. Yeah, it'd be cool.
Very cool. Yeah. So I think that's good. Yeah. And you don't have to spend a lot of money to have, you don't have to have everything mic'd individually. When we started, I had a kick drum mic and I had 2 overhead mics.
Yeah.
For a total cost with all 3 of them, maybe about $150.
Yeah. When I started, I had it was a Zoom handy handheld recorder. So it's just a handheld recorder. You press record. You have an SD card that goes in the microphone. You press record, and I put it up on a tripod, kind of in front of the drums or behind the drums, and it was just one handheld microphone. I use that for the majority of my covers.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. And then later on, as the years progressed, I had a snare drum mic and a bass drum mic. And then after that, a snare drum mic, a bass drum mic, and overheads. And then now it's not every drum mic, but majority of the drums are mic'd. So yeah, you don't need every drum, every cymbal mic'd. Like you said, overheads and a snare drum and a bass drum or whatever, vice versa, that definitely does the job.
Yeah, like you said, even like that Zoom recorder, and there's different versions of that out there. That's better than nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely better than your phone audio. So yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I've been recording shows with a little task cam.
Okay. Yeah. I've seen
I'll just put it out in front of the stage by the audience. And then I'll mix that with some of the GoPro audio just because that has a little bit more low end.
Yeah. That's similar to the Zoom handheld one. Yeah, there's tons of brands with them.
Yeah. So and they're pretty affordable too.
Oh, they are definitely. Yeah, they are.
I love it. Well, Matthew, is there anything else that you can think of that we could share with people that might be helpful?
I think we touched on a lot of, tips and tricks and advice. I think we did. I think it was a lot of great information in this episode. So I just want to thank you for having me on your show. As always, it's a pleasure working with you, and hopefully we can do it again soon.
Well, likewise, Matthew, it's always a delight to get to chat with you. Which I know we get to do that off screen sometimes, and that's always a delight.
Yeah.
But it's always super fun to do any kind of collaboration on YouTube. So you guys, if you could think of anything any tips or tricks that you have, or anything you'd like to hear us talk about and get our opinions on, leave that in the comments below. We'll do a part 2 of these. In the meantime, if you haven't, can't tell which way I'm going. Go check out Matthew's channel, Drumman 190. You'll be glad you did. Some amazing content. Show him some love. And we thank you guys for stopping by and taking the time to hang out with us. We'll see you next time.